Hello, entrepreneurs, technology startups, small businesses, and students, and anybody else who is interested to learn about intellectual property. Welcome to another episode of Tip Top Startups. Make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and Instagram, where I post daily content for legal and business due diligence in connection with technology startups. I'm David Nima, attorney and consultant. I've written 2 books, Tip Top Trademarks and Tip Top Startups, and these are designed for any entrepreneur who wants to gain an unfair advantage and gain kind of working knowledge in terms of best practices for trademark protection, as well as technology startup launch innovation. I suggest you check those out on Amazon. On today's episode, we are going to discuss essentially what's covered in Chapter 1 of Tip Top Trademarks, which is understanding the different types of intellectual property. And the point of that is so that you can focus on your trademarks and you can kind of isolate your trademarks from the company assets, intellectual portfolio assets, and go ahead and go on and seek protection for those trademarks. So let's just get right into it. What I want to just kind of quickly go over is the different types of intellectual property that are essentially protected in the United States, and give you some examples, some real world examples. Okay, so let's start with trademarks. Now, trademarks, as you know, we've discussed what trademarks are. Trademarks are source identifiers. They essentially tell the customer, what company is providing that hamburger or that shoe or that kind of computer, for example. So these are famous brands like the Nike swoosh, for example, the Coca-Cola logo, the word Coca-Cola, the word Nike, the word Apple for computers. So these are kind of, famous trademarks, and, these are trademarks that are protected, or these are a type of intellectual property in the United States, which is a trademark, and one type of intellectual property. And the examples for that are, for example, the word Facebook, the word Revlon, the word Kodak, the word Coca-Cola, the word Pepsi. These are all famous trademarks. Let's talk about copyrights. Copyrights essentially protect an original work of authorship. So copyrights include things like music, pictures, software code, a book. The copy on this website, this video is protected by copyright. So these are kind of copyrighted works. So one example of a copyrighted work would be the Harry Potter book series. The Harry Potter book series is, or any book essentially, can be protected by copyright in the United States, a different type of asset than trademarks. Let's move on to trade secrets. What are trade secrets? Now, trade secrets are a type of intellectual property asset, essentially, which is what I would call almost a miscellaneous bucket of intellectual property. And the reason for that is because usually things that are not protected by patents or copyrights or trademarks, companies will try to protect them under trade secret law. And this would be things that are potentially really valuable to a company. And one of the most common examples in business for trade secrets is recipes. A recipe by law is not protected by copyright law, and therefore companies will seek protection of a recipe, such as, for example, the Coca-Cola recipe, the KFC 11 herbs and spices recipe. Almost any a lot of companies really kind of talk about their quote-unquote secret sauce or secret recipe, and the way they protect their secret sauce or secret recipes is by trade secret law. So you want to discuss with your attorney in terms of whether or not certain parts of your business fall under trade secret law. I guess another industry that really takes advantage of this is the pharmaceutical industry. For example, dietary supplements may have a lot of kind of secret recipes that they don't disclose. They disclose the ingredients, but they don't necessarily disclose the recipe of how to make it. And same thing with Coca-Cola, for example. On the back of a Coca-Cola product, you will see the ingredients listed and some nutritional facts. However, you will not see the recipe for how those ingredients are mixed and what portions are mixed, because that is a protected trade secret. Moving on to patents, there are 2 types of patents that we want to discuss, and usually most entrepreneurs kind of consider just patents by themselves, and that's totally fine. However, the patents really kind of fall into two buckets of patents. The most common type of patents that we all kind of know is what's called the utility patent. A utility patent kind of protects, a functional process or a useful process or a machine, for example. Things like the chair, the traffic light, the original Edison light bulb, for example. In today's industries, a lot of hardware technology companies essentially will use utility patents to protect the hardware of their product, and of course that hardware may have software code that has other types of protection, such as copyright protection. But utility patents essentially apply to useful inventions or improvements of a physical system. And, it's something to kind of discuss with your attorney in terms of whether or not your innovation qualifies as what's called a utility patent. Then we got design patents. Design patents are similar but different than utility patents. Design patents only last 14 years, whereas utility patents essentially give you 20 years of exclusive protection. And design patents are really most notably different because they apply to the shape of a product, of a physical product. Some of the most famous design patents are, for example, the design of the iPhone, the shape of the iPhone. Other design patents can include, for example, some jewelry products will use design patents. The Coca-Cola bottle and the way it's kind of curved, that has a design patent. Also, some exotic cars like Lamborghini and Ferrari file a lot of design patents for kind of the shape of their vehicle, in addition to a whole lot of patents that are related to kind of the technology within the engine and some of the things that they do to make physical improvements. They also they try to protect the distinctive shape of the product under a design patent. And there are some nuances in terms of what qualifies as a design patent and otherwise what may be exempt from design patent protection. It's very nuanced, and I think you should definitely discuss with an experienced intellectual property attorney about design patents as well as utility patents. So as you can see, the power of intellectual property is protection in the United States gives a tremendous leverage to businesses in terms of protecting their innovations. Most innovations fall under different types of intellectual property, such as copyrights, trademarks, trade secrets, patents, which are design patents, as well as utility patents. And for more examples of these, definitely check out Chapter 1 of Tip Top Trademarks, now available on Amazon. And if you are also a technology startup and want to get a head start on your best practices, due diligence in connection with your corporate structuring, the business plan and pitch deck stage of a business, the intellectual property protection, that's all discussed in Tip Top Startups. We also discuss contracts in Tip Top Startups. So Tip Top Startups really applies to technology companies only, technology startups. However, Tip Top Trademarks is a book that can be applicable to any company with a brand. And if you have a pending trademark application, go into Chapter 7, where you can identify where you are in the trademark system or process, and then kind of work your way from there using the book as a guide. This is David Nima, the attorney and founder of Tip Top Startups, and I'm here to demystify some of the nuances of intellectual property law and best practices and due diligence in connection with technology startup launch. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video and our YouTube channel at Tip Top Startups. You can also find Tip Top Startups on Instagram, where we post daily content in connection with risk reduction strategies for technology companies. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.